If you're a writer or a marketer, you know the deal. Your inbox, your social feeds, they're just crammed with ads for the next big thing in AI writing. But let's be real, which ones are just hype and which ones actually get the job done? Well, someone got so tired of the noise, they spent a full 30 days putting 20 of the top tools to the test on real projects with real deadlines. And trust me, the results are probably not what you're expecting. Let's dive in. This whole experiment really kicked off from a feeling we can all relate to, right? That frustration with those top 10 lists that just feel fake. The goal here wasn't just to rattle off features. It was to find out what happens when it's 11 p.m., you're staring at a blinking cursor, and you just need to get something finished. This wasn't some quick look-see. It was a month-long deep dive into what these tools really can and can't do. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's not about finding one single best tool to rule them all. It's about figuring out which tool is the right tool for the right job. And this explainer, it's all about answering that question with some hard-won data from the trenches. Okay, so to get to that answer, we first have to wade through the current landscape. And honestly, it's a bit of a mess. It is so crowded, it's confusing, and every single tool out there is screaming that it's the ultimate solution. This whole test was designed to cut right through that chaos. Now, what's so cool about this is just how seriously they took the testing. This wasn't about feelings, it was about data. The researcher tracked everything, how fast a tool could generate content, whether it could stick to a specific tone, and maybe most importantly, how many edits were needed to make the text something you could actually publish. It wasn't about which AI wrote the most words, but which one wrote the right words. So let's kick things off with the main event, the big players. The tools that have pretty much become household names in the AI world. As it turns out, each one has a very different personality, and they're really best for completely different tasks. And this, right here, just perfectly nails the biggest difference found in the tests. The best way to think about it is like this. ChatGPT is your brilliant, tireless research assistant. It's an absolute beast for digging up information and brainstorming ideas. But when it comes to the actual craft of writing, getting that nuanced, human-sounding flow, Claude was the clear winner. It just felt more like a creative partner. And the numbers totally back that feeling up. I mean, look at this. For every 1,000 words, Claude's writing only needed about 12 edits to be ready to go. ChatGPT, it needed 28. That's more than double the work. When you're trying to produce content at scale, that time savings is just massive. And this pattern of specialization just keeps going. Jasper, for instance, turned out to be a marketer's absolute best friend, especially if you're juggling multiple brand voices. Its killer feature is its ability to learn and lock in a specific tone. Surfer, on the other hand, it's not really a writer at all. Think of it as a pure optimization tool, a drill sergeant that's laser-focused on one thing and one thing only, getting your content to the top of Google. All right, so we've covered the big names, but this is where things get really interesting. The 30-day test uncovered some actual hidden gems and, honestly, some pretty shocking insights. A few of the underdog tools delivered value in ways the industry leaders just couldn't. This was one of the wildest discoveries. I mean, just imagine this. What if you could know how well your headline is going to perform before you even hit publish, before you spend a dime on an A/B test? Well, there's a tool called AnyWord that claims it can do exactly that, giving every piece of copy a predictive score. And the test proved it wasn't just some clever marketing gimmick. The researcher actually ran A/B tests, pitting AnyWord's high-scoring headlines against its low-scoring ones. The results were just crystal clear. The high scores got a 34% higher click-through rate. For anyone in performance marketing, that is an absolute game changer. The test also found a true underrated champion, a tool called Easel AI. So what makes it so special? Well, it doesn't just spit out a wall of text. It builds a whole content experience. It goes out and finds relevant images, YouTube videos, and even pulls in Reddit threads for social proof, creating a final article that's way more engaging right out of the box. Okay, here is a fantastic piece of hard-won wisdom from this whole experiment. If you've ever used Surfer SEO, you know that temptation to chase a perfect 100 score. Well, it turns out that's a trap. The test found that going for 100 often leads to awkward, keyword-stuffed writing. The best performing articles, they actually scored between 75 and 85 because they prioritized good ideas over perfect optimization. So, after all of this, what's the big lesson? It's that there is no single best AI writer. There just isn't. The real solution is to stop looking for that one magic bullet and start building a personalized stack of tools. a toolkit that fits your specific needs and workflow. This table just lays it all out so clearly. You can see the trade-offs right away. Look, Claude gets a solid 8 for writing quality, and it's only 20 bucks. Jasper is fantastic for brand voice, but look at that price jump. And then you have Surfer. See that low writing score? That's not a bug, it's a feature. Its job isn't to write, its job is to optimize, and for that, it's the best in the business. So based on all these tests, here's a great, cost-effective toolkit if you're a freelancer or a solo creator. You start with Claude as your workhorse for high-quality drafts, you layer on Grammarly to do the final polish. Then, only when you have a piece that absolutely needs to rank on Google, you bring in the specialist, Surfer SEO. It's a smart, modular approach that gets the job done without breaking the bank. But what if you're part of a bigger marketing team? Well, the game changes a bit. The needs are different, so the stack is different. This is where a tool like Jasper, with its brand voice features, suddenly becomes totally worth that price tag. You combine that with Surfer for your client's SEO needs and Grammarly Business to keep everyone on the team consistent, and you've got a seriously powerful engine for creating content. But here's the thing. After testing 20 different tools, spending hundreds of dollars and hours of work, the most important discovery wasn't about the tools at all. It was about the process. The real secret to making amazing content with AI is all in the workflow. And this is it. This is that workflow. It's a 6-step process that perfectly blends AI's speed with human creativity. But notice the most important part. The AI does the heavy lifting, the research, the drafting, the optimizing. But the most crucial steps, finding what's missing and adding your own original ideas, that's all you. That is the key. And does this whole process actually pay off? Oh yeah. The final optimized toolkit costs about $141 a month. In return, it saves 10 to 15 hours of work every single week. Do the math on that. At any decent hourly rate, that is a return on investment of over 400%. It's not an expense, it's a productivity machine. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. As these tools get better and cheaper, just having access to them isn't an advantage anymore. Everyone has them. The real competitive advantage, the thing that will make you stand out, is what you bring to the table, your unique perspective, your original ideas, your actual expertise. AI can amplify that, but it can never, ever create it from scratch. So at the end of this whole 30-day marathon, the final lesson was actually pretty simple. AI tools are incredible assistants. They can help you write faster, cleaner, and better. But they can't help you with the one thing that truly matters, having something valuable to say in the first place.